Welcome to the Awesome Pod Mix. You are listening to Abby. The idea behind this podcast was to talk about how certain movies and TV shows made me feel when I watched them for the very first time. A reputed filmmaker once said, when a piece of art invokes a similar feeling amidst a large audience, it's the triumph of the filmmaker. That's the magic of cinema. I love the magic of cinema. Today, I'll be talking about the sixth episode of Marvel Studios' She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Whether Marvel creates movies or TV shows, they are all cinematic. This episode's title is Just Jen, written by Kara Brown and directed by Anu Valia. It's the fourth series to have a Kevin Feige production credit after Hawkeye, Moon Knight, and Ms. Marvel. The episode opens with a wedding invitation for Jen to be a bridesmaid for her friend Lulu. Nikki suggests Jen not to go because you can RSVP no to a wedding. But Jen accepts the invitation out of obligation. Jen feels terrible that Mallory would have to pick up her slack at work. Nikki is more than excited to work closer with Miss Mallory. I think Nikki has a crush on Miss Mallory. When Jen arrives at the wedding venue as Jen Hulk, Lulu doesn't want her to be hulky at her wedding. Jen is sad because this was the one place she wanted to be She-Hulk. At GLKH, Mallory is handling Mr. Immortal's case. Nikki reprimands Mr. Immortal when he tries to explain immortality to Mallory. Nikki says, "You think this woman, who has a law degree, doesn't know what immortal means?" Nikki coming on hot and strong. Mr. Immortal jumps out of the window and lands on the Hickman Security Service vehicle, which is a reference to their art department coordinator, Kyle Hickman. A QR code on the side of the Hickman Security Service vehicle takes you to the West Coast Avengers Comics 1985 issue number 46. Titania shows up at Lulu's wedding pretending to celebrate the love of Lulu and her groom Adam. "We know you're lying, Titania." "I am going to be extremely rude and loud about it." At Mr. Immortal's divorce case discussion, we learn about this hateful man-baby's website named Intelligentsia. At the wedding, everyone's making Jen do their bridesmaids' work. Poor Jen. Jed is hired to play the DJ at the wedding. He announces himself as Incredible Hulk. Really, Ched? That's so derivative. You don't even have Hulk spars. I hate weddings. I can't stand weddings. I have had to be the bridesmaid for many of my friends, but I'm not a fan of weddings. I only enjoy what Jen does in the following scene. Eat, drink, dance, repeat. Back at GLKH, I love Nikki's negotiation skills for all the women Mr. Immortal has wronged, including the sincere apology with meaningful eye contact lasting 15 seconds. Scratch that, 20 seconds, which we get to see during end credit illustrations. "Nikki, girl, I need you to represent me and negotiate on my behalf for all my contractual dealings and potential future breakups." I could use some sincere apologies with meaningful eye contact because who are we kidding? Therapy is expensive. People need to be accountable for their wrongdoings. Mallory compliments Nikki. Mallory says, "Miss Ramos, unconventional and excellent." Indeed, indeed, indeed. Jen makes a call to Brooks because she is missing him. Jen doesn't hate love, and neither do I. Jen is doing excellent at her job lawyering the law. When Jen has had a few drinks too many, she pukes. Titania attacks her and sucker punches her. Titania wants Jen to turn into She-Hulk. Jen has trouble turning. Reminds me of Infinity War Bruce Banner trying to turn into Hulk. Jen finally turns and fights Titania. Titania trips on the ice and busts up her veneers. She's embarrassed, so she leaves, but she also steals the cake. We see Titania's veneers being fixed in the end credit illustrations. Mallory and Nikki are watching Mr. Immortal's jumping from the window video on the internet. Nikki very smoothly slides in the question about Mallory's marriage. We learn that Mallory is not just married, but she'll be completing 11 years in October. And she has a son whose birthday is a day before her anniversary. Mallory and Nikki stumble upon this secret slutty She-Hulk Reddit-like page on Intelligentsia's web portal. Nikki creates a fake account under the username She-Hulk_sucks000 and is appalled by the thread's content. Nikki wants to inform Jen about the same, but Mallory stops her to protect Jen's feelings and mental health. They are trolls for a reason, but Nikki leaves a voicemail for Jen spilling everything about intelligentsia. We realize that someone is surveilling Jen at the wedding. We crash zoom out and see the surveillance footage on a computer screen. There's a graphic in there for macro blood levels. A message from the same Hulk King of Intelligentsia web portal appears on the computer screen asking, "Is the next phase of the plan ready to go?" A lab scientist is holding the same bent needle that couldn't pierce through She-Hulk's skin. They replace the bent needle with a bigger, strong-looking needle in a radioactive marked box. I don't even trust the guy Josh that Jen is hanging out with at the wedding. Be careful, Jen. Be very careful. You can listen to the Awesome Pod Mix and subscribe to it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. If you like what I'm doing, I'll soon be launching the Awesome Pod Mix page on Patreon, and you can support me there. Thanks for listening.